Hello, I'm Brent Ferris from the Bearded Man Studios, and in this video I want to show you replacement variables. So what are replacement variables? First of all, if you remember this index page, we had these weird less than percent space variable name space percent greater than, and this is basically telling C# when it reads this file to replace this variable with the corresponding value. So let's take for example, runtime. So if we go into the index controller, because this is the index HTML page, we'll find that there's a runtime string here, followed by a function that will get called to replace the text with. So if we look at the data inside of there, we have the networking manager instance, simulated server time to string. So we just take the simulated server time, we convert it to a string, and we assign it to runtime. Then when the web server parses out the HTML, it will replace what it finds within this less than percent space and space percent greater than. So it'll replace this whole thing with the value of that keyed string. So we have bandwidth in, bandwidth out, runtime, start time, and player count. So if we come over here, there's runtime, start time, bandwidth in, bandwidth out, but there's no player count. I'll show that one in a moment. First of all, or before I do that, I want to show you we have each one of these functions corresponding to a behavior. So the start time and the runtime, we saw runtime gets the simulated runtime, start time gets the date time, and the bandwidth in and out do some math here. So the bandwidth in does this math and bandwidth out does this math, and gets a string that has bytes, terabytes, gigabytes, megabytes, kilobytes, just beautification the string to see it visually on the front page. And lastly, we just have render and our useless players handle here that we showed in the previous video for how actions work. So we don't have player count. So basically, this is a system that derives from one another. So if you actually take a look at the player controller class, you'll notice that there's a player count inside of there. So that player count actually carries down into the index. And we put it there just so you can see it. So basically, any class that derives from page controller, which is every controller that you should have, command derives from player controller, page controller. So if we went into command, you'll see that that derives from page controller. So everything derives from page controller. So in page controller is where you can put your global variables if you have variables that span across multiple pages. So that's basically what these these replacement variables are for. It just takes a string key and replaces it with this this semantic here. So if we have the percent signs and the variable name in between, and it's spelled exactly the same even with the casing. So runtime capital T will have a corresponding runtime capital T inside of here. So that's replacement variables. You can put them in any controller that you wish, and then when you're building out the HTML page, you can add in a new replacement variable. So let's just create a new replacement variable really quick. So we're going to create a new row, and we're going to say test, and we're going to put in a replacement variable, and we'll call it name. So now that we have that, we're going to go back to the index controller, and I'm going to say variables.add, and of course you can use a lambda expression for this, but we'll just use a function, get name, and let's create the function private string get name, return Brent Ferris. So now let's jump back over to our server and let's restart it. So let's start it up here, host. If I come over here and refresh, you'll see now we have test, and Brent Ferris is the replacement variable that gets replaced into there. So the name, just to reiterate, is being parsed out here. And that's how it's getting translated to the web page. So those are replacement variables. In the next video, we'll show you how to add commands to the command window. So when you type in a command, it executes an action on the server. I'll show you how to do that. So if you have any questions, please let us know, and thanks for watching.